live from the Crescent City with the homie,
Yeah.
the real homie, Alvin Kamara, the new young legend, Rajah Caruth,
On the come
my
up.
homie, you know what I'm saying, the co-host. Chief, we here, we back,
Yeah.
where we started.
Did start here.
It started
Yeah,
here.
started here. Same.
Started here.
Yeah, same. After the same opponent,
Same game.
the same game. So
Different
yeah,
outcome.
different outcome. Definitely got it in the winning bracket this time. But
Yeah.
yeah,
How you feeling overall?
man, I'm good, blessed. You know what I'm saying. I think just overall, just in a good spot in life, just overcoming a lot of things and learning a lot of things, experiencing a lot of things. But you know, that's what you asked for. I'd rather it that way than the other way.
Okay.
Yeah.
You speak to overcoming. Give me something that, I mean, we all got challenges, but has there been anything in particular that this year has kind of been like, whew, this is teaching me a lesson. I'm learning a lot from this experience.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't really speak to. I mean, I speak about football, but I don't speak to football too much. But just balancing like, and just speaking candidly, like we've been losing this year, so I'm not really used to losing. I don't think any of us are like used to losing. Maybe going through some adversity, but like just a really flat out losing, like, and that's been hard for me, challenging for me because just the way like I'm wired. I'm like, man, everything I do, I want to make sure it's done to the best of my ability and make sure that it's A1 all the way through, no mess ups, no like. We all want to control our situation so much, but it's only so much you can control. So like overcoming the fact that all right, this year more than any year, I've been in that kind of losing category, and it's like if you're not careful, and if you're not strong-minded and strong-willed, sometimes that becomes like people allow that to become their reality or their personality or their being. Like, I'm not a loser, I'm losing. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I've been kind of like battling with and just kind of trying to overcome and stay out of just that mind frame, because where your mind goes, your body will follow. So if you in your mind you're a loser, that's where your body is gonna go. You're gonna be a loser. You know what I'm saying? So like that's my thing. I know I'm not a loser, but we're losing.
It's tough. It's difficult.
Yeah. It's definitely tough. So you got to kind of just find ways and kind of spend some time with yourself and really just realize, like, I kind of remind myself, like, okay, why am I doing this? How did I get here? I mean, obviously all the great things that I've done and all the great things that this team has done, and I mean, it's like it's amazing to look back, because I never really take a chance to, like, I guess, look at like the pelts on the wall, right? Because I'm always just in it, like, I'm in it, I'm going, like, one game is done, I'm on to the next, or one record is broken, I'm on to the next, or one, accomplishment or achievement is hit, and I'm on to the next. But, when you kind of get in this, like, a kind of losing mode, it makes you look back, because, you're trying to find some good. You like, all right, well, what was happening when
we was doing
yeah,
this,
when we was winning, when we was successful.
Yeah.
And then, you get to looking at, all right, well, I'm looking at the team, because me personally, I'm not a selfish player. Like, I don't look at me. But you look at the team, and then I'm looking at, like, dang, well, I was doing such and such, or I was doing, I like looking at all these records, like my friends, my mom, they send me all these things, and I'm like, I've never really sat down and looked at, what I've achieved or what I've accomplished in this, like, 6-year span. Like Pro Bowls, All Pros, records, dang near 10,000 yards in 6 years, like Saints records, like, so you look at all that stuff, and I'm like, man, that don't all just go away. You know what I'm saying? So me being the player that I am, I look at it and I'm like, well, is it my fault that we're losing? You nod your head, no, but in a couple, like, in maybe 2 games, you could say it's my fault. Like, I got to
fumble game?
Yeah, the fumble games, which I have no problem, like, taking accountability and being like, yo, you know what, I messed up right there. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I think, as a competitor, as an athlete, as a businessman, as a family man, like, the I guess one of the best qualities you can have is, being able to be accountable. So I've never shied away from taking accountability for, my actions, whether good or bad.
Yeah.
So, like, understanding like, okay, well, in some of those losses, I played a hand, you know, whether it was ultimately the dagger or it wasn't, it's like, okay, well, if those don't happen, we put ourselves in a better position to be able to be successful. So, you know, just balancing all that, but that's where I'm at. You know, other than that, blessed still.
Not from like a, you know, I don't think anybody sitting here would be like, we're a therapist or we're specialized in mental health, but sitting next to a young 20-year-old man who is at the beginning of his career, who is going to go through adversity, through a lot of things.
Go ahead.
Now, I was going to say, what are a couple things you would instill in him, you know, that you've been through everything, the peaks, the mountains, the hills, to help him during some of those, you know, tough times?
Man, first of all, I think with him, you know, and I'm just speaking like again, we keep it real right here. So as a black man growing up, I didn't have a father, right? So I see him, he has his father with him.
Amazing,
you know what I'm saying?
father.
Really, like, and, you know, he's present, and he's kind of helping him and guiding him through this journey, which is like, right there, that's like, you ahead. You know what I'm saying? Like, in our community, you know what I'm saying? Because that's usually not something that's present. So I see that, and I'm like, man, that's like a beautiful thing. Like, I know you probably, I'm saying this for the first time, but I see that, like, you know what I'm saying? Even at the game, his pop's right behind him. Like, I dab him up, and I see his pop's like, oh, what's up, pops? Like, it's cool. Like, I didn't have that. So, you know, with me coming up, it was like I had my mom, you know what I'm saying? I had my older sister, and, like, it was kind of like, you know, it was me and my brother, and, like, I didn't have nobody in my family that played football, or I didn't have no example of, like, what that was supposed to look like. So a lot of it was me just navigating and trying to figure it out by myself. But I think with him just starting there, like, he has a father figure. You know, he has somebody to, like, be like, okay, yeah, you doing good, or you need to chill out, like, you know what I'm saying? So that's like a big head start in my opinion. But, you know, I think just where you at right now, 20 years old, kind of embarking on a journey to where, you know, shoot, you can mold it into whatever you want to make it. Make sure you keep the main thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think a lot of times, a lot of dudes get in these situations and they kind of falter and you know, get off track because, you know, whether it's success or attention, whatever it is, it kind of muddies up the vision. It blurs the vision. So, I mean, I kind of like, besides talking to you, you know, I kind of just watch from a distance, and I think you already do a good job of that. Like, you keep the main thing. I think your focus is there, your drive is there. Like, you're doing it for the right reasons. You love it, and you want it. Like, I think you just got that beast in you where it's like, yeah, I'm overcoming all these, whatever is thrown my way, I'm gonna overcome it. And I was gonna say, Chief, when you was talking, like, you in a unique position because the sport you in, you know what I'm saying? We talking about NASCAR, where it's not a lot of dudes that look like you. You know what I'm saying? So with that, already you in a super, super unique position. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's looking at you to fail, if you want to be real. Or everybody's looking at you to not be what, you know.
They're saying you are.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? What they're saying you are. And I think you handle that with so much grace because, like, regardless of all the talk or, you know, why are they talking about him or what are they talking about him for, or you kind of just keep moving and keep going and just keep climbing. So I think just keeping the main thing is super important, is vital, because if you get off track and start, you know, reading the newspaper clippings and listening to this person who feels like you shouldn't be in this position because X, Y, Z or whatever, like, then that's when it kind of like, it gets muddy and, you know, it dies before it even starts. So, you know, it's just keeping on that straight line and keeping going. Like I said, I can't say this enough. Like, you got a father figure right there. Like, you know what I'm saying? I got male figures in my life, but I didn't have a father there that was like, you know, every day on me, like talking to me, telling me these things that I ended up learning later in life because I had some great father figures and some great male role models that, you know, kept me on track. But I mean, you got one right in your pocket, like.
Yeah.
So
that's
it's super
a
dope. It is, for real. Don't never take that for granted.
Absolutely.
So, man, like Chief said, you you just embarking. You just starting out. You know what I mean? Like obviously this has been a lifelong dream.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? How how did you find yourself in racing? Like in, you know what I mean? It's not, again, we're not talking about a sport like we're not talking about hooping or football or whatever, even baseball. We're talking about NASCAR. What? How did you find it?
Man,
How did it find you?
That's a good point. I mean, honestly, partially due to my dad because of like he went to Clark, Atlanta, and he did a lot of stuff in the music industry and the sports industry, traveling around across the country and really the world. And so, kind of the things he gained, he brought to my sister and I. And so, you know, different experiences and cars happen to be one of them.
Okay.
And that's something that I just really picked up when I was little, and just it never went away. It's like when you're younger, right? You see people playing basketball and playing football and making music, right? And then for me, that was racing. And although there wasn't people that looked like me really doing it at that point, it was just I had that passion and that obsession from that age, and it just never went away.
Who was like the driver or the drivers that you gravitated towards when you started getting into the sports?
First, it was Jimmy Johnson, just because like he won like 5 in a row, and that dude was like kept it P in his interviews, like professional, respectful, just be a good sportsman. And then Bubba Wallace after, and Lewis Hamilton for just being someone that I can share or have had similar experiences with and are also successful. And so those three have probably been the ones I've looked up to the most.
Have you had the opportunity to sit down and talk to Lewis at any time?
Not yet, man, just on Instagram, but I'm hoping one day. One day.
That's a long sustained success right there.
Yeah.
Lewis is not playing with
that's
him.
different.
And I think his stance in the sport that is, I mean, NASCAR is NASCAR, and in F1, you talk about like
That's
the
worldwide.
pretentiousness of
that's
that,
international.
Yeah.
and how he's stood in front of that and embraced his blackness and his culture and his style and his fashion. You know, I think again, it's breaking down molds, not for just the masses, but also for our culture, our people, because we don't have access to those kind of things, which alludes to my question about how did you get involved in the program, and you know, let's talk a little bit about that and what that was like in those steps, because you know, one thing we always want to do with this show is give tangible tools for kids who might watch this and be like, hey, I actually want to find out more about this, you know, and so if you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point, because racing that's not something like you can't go to Walmart and get a basketball and get basketball shoes, right?
Yeah.
And go to the racetrack. Like you can't, you need those connections that cost like thousands upon thousands of dollars, and have those individuals and connections that will get you an opportunity to practice and actually race. So I started racing online, and that was really the only
Simulator.
place on the simulator, yeah.
Okay.
And so it was basically like my school laptop, and we got a like an $80 wheel from Best Buy, and like just set it up. I figured out how to like mess with the hard drive on the computer so I could run the program, and that's really how I started. And that was it. That's really, I would say I'm really the first one that actually really got my career started through racing online without having like external funding or external connections to
You
go.
just went and did it.
Just went and did it.
Yeah.
With my family, obviously, but we made it happen.
Yeah. Whoa. I also, for real, just had to take a moment and be like, that's like a pilot, right? Just, yeah, I was sitting at home.
I just went and got the setup and put it on
Sit
my
up and
computer,
put it
and I
on,
was
and
like,
now
yeah.
I'm one of the best pilots ever in the
Yeah.
world. You know what I'm saying? Like you, and that says a lot. That speaks a lot to who you are and who you are going to continue to be. Like you just went out and just grabbed it by the bull by the horn, so to speak.
Like I was on that so that summer I was gonna be a junior in high school, so I had a summer job and I was running track at the time. And so basically how my days would be, I would have work in the morning and then track workouts, and then when I get home from track workouts, I just would be on the game, as it would be the game, for the whole night until work the next morning. So.
And that's a NASCAR game? It's an
Yes,
actual
well, not just
NASCAR?
NASCAR, but
Okay.
like it's got F1, it's got sports cars,
All the tracks, yeah.
everything.
Okay.
Man, they got that at Andretti's. I went and got on one of them little simulators. I couldn't do it.
For real, like,
Yeah, I couldn't do it. Like, it had
crazy.
the real rig, though.
Yeah, it was like
the
moving,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, I was like, man, I might have hit a turn too fast or something. It shook me. I'm like, yo, it threw my whole everything off. I'm like, wow.
Yo, I'm sorry.
I was gonna ask.
Go ahead.
The NASCAR diversity program, right? Is that how? Was that your inroad into?
That was it. That was the
so
only
how
chance.
did how did you find
That.
that?
Yeah. So, I mean, only 3 people that have gone through that program have ever made it to like Cup. Bo Wallace, obviously, Daniel Suarez, Kyle Larson. So basically, that was really my only chance because no really external connections, no chance. And so I raced on there long enough and built my portfolio online through social media and went to a race and met some of the individuals that like the executives of the program and just put a name with the face and applied for the program, and they let me do the combine in like probably 6 months after.
For those who may not know, Alvin, can you share with everybody like what this connection is? Because a lot of people are not aware of your affiliation with NASCAR because you've never really spoken to it.
So, growth and engagement, I work with NASCAR in that area. That's my title, growth and engagement advisor officer. And basically what I do is just try to find unique opportunities, unique lanes, unique situations to bring attention and draw, fans to the sport, right? So whatever that looks like, what I'm saying? It's definitely a ever-evolving situation. It's definitely a unique situation. It's definitely an interesting situation because for a sport that's, we already talked, we being real, so a sport that doesn't really, you don't see as being like very inclusive, and I say this when I speak about NASCAR, like on the outside looking in, it doesn't look inclusive, but when you get inside, like it's like one of the most diverse sports that I've seen, like even more diverse than, like I'm in the NFL, I'm in football. You see a lot of us playing the sport, you see it, and you're like, okay, but when you get upstairs in the offices, and it's not very inclusive. I'm in Charlotte at the headquarters, at the office, and I'm like, oh, this is dope. Like, it's a melting pot of people, and everybody's like, forward thinking and progressive, and like, you're like, man, that's like just, it's dope to see because you wouldn't think that being on the outside looking in. So
how did your love develop for NASCAR and just
Yeah, man. So I was really I just told this story to somebody the other day. I was really watching during the pandemic, and I was just like, it's always on TV, but you never really I never really took the time to sit and really pay attention and watch it because I'm like, they're just driving, like it is what it is.
Going in a circle.
Yeah, they're going in a circle. It's like nothing to that. They fill up the car with gas and keep going. So I'm watching, and I'm like picking up on like just within 10, 20 minutes, I'm picking up on all these small little intricate things like, what I'm saying, like the laps, like the fact that, the gas, like everything is calculated like down to a T, and it's so like specific. And these cars are like high performance vehicles, but these dudes inside these cars is really, really athletes. Like they're really out there and they have to be locked in for a long time. Like,
I remember going to a race with you.
Yeah.
In the pit, the
Bro.
pit crew, the team.
Yeah.
They're in condition. They're out there
Man.
stretching.
Yeah, it's
like
serious.
it's serious.
It's serious.
Like, I'm like,
So-
wait, who's the athlete?
Yeah.
And it's the whole team.
So I'm watching all that and I'm like, man, this is crazy. So, I hit NASCAR on Twitter because, I'm at home, pandemic, nothing going on.
And you're
like,
Alvin Kamara.
And
Let's be, come on.
And that, so
Okay.
I'm like, best way to get in touch. I'm like, yo, NASCAR pretty dope. Like I'm watching, like finally just kind of really took the time and paid attention, and I'm like, man, this is dope. And they hit me back like, glad you're a fan. Like, thanks for your support. Cool. Like that was it. And I'm like, they gotta have a schedule. Go and look at the schedule. I'm in Miami at the time. They at home. This is like a Wednesday. They're in Homestead on Sunday. At a track in Miami. So I'm like, I hit them back. I'm like, yo, can I come to the race? Like, would that be possible? Pandemic, I think it was only, they were allowing like 2,500 veterans that race to come.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And just sit in the stands. So they're like, all right, well let's see if we can put something together. They ended up giving me a suite for the race. So I'm just in the suite, and I end up watching the race. End up kind of, you know, it was still, like I said, pretty restricted. So I ended up meeting Steve Phelps,
Who's the president?
who was the president of NASCAR. You know, talked to him, chopped it up with him for a little while, and just experienced the race. And you know, from then it kind of just started, you know, kind of snowballing and turned into what it is now, with me being involved in NASCAR and kind of just making some of these connections. And then obviously that's why I'm sitting here with Rajah right here.
So important. We always talk about representation.
Yeah.
And I think representation from people that not only you respect, whether it's sports or music or anything, but people that you know are really about like the realness, you know what I mean? And
sure.
only doing things that they really are passionate about.
sure.
So seeing that and hearing that is beyond important, because, you know, I think we automatically as a people, we put limitations on ourselves based on
100%.
what our proximity is.
100%.
Like you said, you can't go and just pick up a NASCAR somewhere. Your uncles ain't watching NASCAR, your auntie, you know, none of those people. So, you know, these are important conversations that we're having. I wanted to congratulate you. You know, your father told me that you're also a full-time student.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You know,
That's what that's what I didn't know. When I found that out, I was like, yo.
Yo.
yeah.
Because
So,
that's a different path. Like,
huge.
it's not like you. I mean, I don't know. It's not like a. I guess like me. Yeah, it's not normal. Like me, I was at school. There was a football program. Like you're there. It's all in one. It's all packaged up, combined. Like, it's like you
on your own.
Yeah, you on your own.
You're on your own.
You got to make it happen.
So you are at
Winston-Salem State.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so really
HBCU.
And so
Chris
like,
Paul just
shout out,
graduated
shout
from
out.
there?
yeah, Chris Paul just graduated,
Okay.
and he donated to all his fellow graduates. So that was awesome.
Okay,
So,
that's what's up.
but really, it's because of Winston being like very lenient with me, just because, like you said, like it's just really on me and like my circle to like manage my schedule with when I have to travel for races and when I have simulator time and workouts and meetings and such. And so really, like I have a really good advisor, Dr. Harshaw, and so he's been very like chill and understanding of the things that I've got going on. So if I can't like commute to school, because I would drive an hour from where I stay at to school 3 days out the week, and so he would be lenient with giving me more time to do assignments, or if we have a group project saying like, all right, you can do your stuff ahead of time, or I'll give you some extra time to do so and things like that. And so honestly, all my teachers and like my fellow students have been very like supportive of me and just created an environment where I can not only pursue my education, but also just be an athlete.
Walk us through what your schedule is on season.
In season.
In season, yeah, sorry.
So this year, it's going to be pretty hectic just because.
Yeah,
so we'll have, we'll travel during the weekends, obviously. We'll first race Daytona February 17th. And so during the week, though, I'll have like workouts multiple days a week in the mornings, and then I'll commute to school like late morning and stuff. And then after that, I'll either have like simulator time at the GM Tech Center or go to the race shop. And then besides that, I got homework and stuff as you got to do.
Yeah. You really got to tell them what you hit, like what you got going this season. Like, you know, we know you driving, but like you kind of just get an accomplishment, and that's what we like to give flowers. You know what I'm saying?
Trying
For
to
sure,
get,
they definitely, and that's what I know about Chief and Malik. They definitely want to give flowers when, you know, while you sitting right here. So I'm gonna let you speak on what you got going on. Like,
so I heard there's a documentary
Yes.
coming. Is that okay? Okay. Sorry, Pops. I wanted to make sure it was all right. Documentary coming out.
And so next year I'll be driving for GMS Racing in the Craftsman Truck Series.
yes, indeed.
That's
And
right.
That's big,
driving the
yeah.
24 Silverado with the Wendell Scott Foundation on the truck. So
Yeah.
So
good.
that's big. I ain't want to pass over that because we just get into the schedule and stuff. I didn't want to skip over that part though.
Speak about driving for the Wendell Scott Foundation.
That's huge.
What
Like
that means for you
yeah.
specifically as a man of color.
It's important because, I mean, the Scott family was such a huge pioneering force in the sport for people that look like us from back then all the way till now, and everything that they did back in the day has put us in a position to be in the sport. And so to represent them on the racetrack every week and off the racetrack every day is really a dream come true. And so, I'm gonna do my best to make them proud. And it's like a dream come true, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's dope.
And to drive the 24 truck, like that's an awesome number, and I'm excited.
Yeah, that's super dope.
So Daytona is the kickoff
Kick
of
off.
the season.
Yeah.
Okay.
First full season.
First full season.
All the way.
All the way. How long did it take you to learn to actually drive the real deal? Like going from a simulator
I'm not gonna lie,
to
it took a little while. Yeah, my first probably 10, 15 races I sucked pretty bad. I'm gonna be honest. Like I didn't know how to use the clutch properly. It was pretty pitiful, but I got the hang of it to a certain point, and then once it really started clicking and I could because I still use the simulation every day because I have a rig in my apartment, and so once I figured out kind of the synergies and how I could use both, it was really just bread and butter, just
That's dope.
easy.
So you have a rig in your apartment,
Yeah.
almost like a flight
It's right next to my
simulator.
bed, so
It's right next to my bed.
Crazy.
But I got my
amount
priorities.
of, concentration though.
that's huge.
Yeah,
How
you
do-
can't
What do you do to
focus.
tune all the noise out?
See, what's crazy to me is I'm sure it's like this when you get on the field. For me, generally, it's hard for me to focus on on simple tasks. But when I get in the race car and putting my stuff on and I'm ready to go, I can just very tunnel vision, just locked in
Man,
so easily.
yeah, that's it's crazy. And I be talking to Bubba and Joey Logano and those dudes, cause they gotta do the what's the little party before the race?
Oh yeah, the driver.
Yeah,
the
all the party and the whole they gotta be so social, and for me, before a game it's nothing it's nothing. The day before, I'm really from 12 o'clock when I leave work the day before after walkthroughs and stuff, all the way until noon the next day. I'm kind of just on ice, chilling. Especially the day of, 8 o'clock get up. By 10 o'clock I'm in the locker room. I don't have to talk to nobody, see nobody besides when I come out for warm-ups and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But by that time, I'm already in it. That's a quick, you see how quick that was when I came out and just kind of hollered at everybody. But for you to be able to, for you to be locked in and stay locked in, on that level, it's kind of, I just didn't get it because it's I couldn't do that. I wouldn't want to be out and being super social and
Yeah.
just cause, even though I think I probably would be able to stay focused, but it's just a certain amount of engagement and a certain amount of
Like you
interaction.
said, the main thing.
You just want to, and a lot of people don't understand that. Some people might not understand what you need to do to get in your zone and stay in your zone and stay focused. But
Yeah, that's a good point because I'm not sure how it was in football, but for me, interacting with other drivers, you see them so at the GM Tech Center, we got all the Chevy guys there and we do workouts and stuff, and it's social, right? So we see each other all the time, but we race against each other on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
So that's been the adjustment for me because it's
you with them.
yeah,
You with the dudes you competing against.
yeah, it's weird. It's I don't I'm not trying to be friends necessarily, but I'm not gonna be completely ignore you. So that's been an adjustment for me just because running
Competitive nature.
right.
Yeah.
Running a track, playing basketball is business, and you bring your friends to the racetrack or you bring your friends to the field or the facility and you go to work and then that's it. And so with racing, that's been an adjustment because you've got your team, but then you got the other individuals that you're racing against, and then you just see them regularly and
They'll hate
all
me.
walks of life. It's
They
weird.
would hate me.
What do you think? You're in it now. You're 1,000% in it. You were a fan. You're a fan also too.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think now that you're sitting in this seat? Some big things that NASCAR and the sport can do to continue to help broaden the sport visibility-wise, sponsorship-wise, diversity-wise for Black, Brown, Asian, etc. What do you think some of the huge things that could be done to?
Well, I think it really starts from schooling. When you get, for me, because I grew up in D.C., and so you're kind of, unfortunately, I went to a high school that was pretty inclusive in terms of showing the different opportunities that you can like get into. But I know for a lot of schools there in the country, that's not a reality, and so, or that's not the reality. And so I think it starts from showing that this is an opportunity and a feasible path. And so if that means like, you know, having an internship program for juniors and seniors to work on a race team or at NASCAR, similar to the college intern program, that's an option. I think it really starts from school, because oftentimes we don't see this as a legit option. Like we see either the sports route or the music route or something else. And so to present it as another opportunity or something that is legitimately a chance to go and do is, I think, where it starts. And NASCAR's honestly been doing it for like, honestly, the last 10, 15 years. And I wouldn't be talking to y'all if it wasn't for the Drive for Diversity program, because that's how it happened. That's what gave me my shot. Yeah. So
that's crazy, because it's like hearing them talk about it. You know, in football, like you got the last pick of the 7th round is like Mr. Irrelevant. That's what they call him.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like, if you think about it,
that's what it is.
That's what you like. You Mr. Irrelevant, because as far as the sport goes, it's like
you didn't come up through those ranks,
the route that you had to take is like so unconventional, and like it's just not really it wasn't really something that was, I guess. Like I said, it's unconventional. It's just, I don't know. It's just,
and then also too,
almost.
Like, so since I started racing online, like still like that was to just get my foot in the door. And then so I still went through the pretty traditional asphalt racing ladder of legend cars, late models, and then the ARCA series. And so that was an adjustment, because you got dudes in there that make a living and are racing there just to put food on the table and just because they're doing it for fun. And then you got kids that come up through there and they're trying to make their career. And so that was an adjustment for me, because it just assessing the competitiveness and how to be a professional, but also understanding like they don't want me here. Like I'm not supposed to be at this point already.
Camaraderie be that.
So it's
again,
like,
that guy's trying to put food on the table.
You definitely got to read through that.
And he's probably looking at you like he's a full-time college student. There's all this, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He don't need this.
He don't need this,
and
that's not the case at all. You need this.
Yeah,
that's professional. That's professional sports. You gonna
period.
See that's professional sports. It's a lot of dudes that's not for you. For sure.
Your position at NASCAR, is it allowing you the opportunity to engage and again make sure that the steps that are needed to take place, as far as providing more Rajah Caruth the opportunities, more people, more executives, black and brown executives that they get upstairs in the building? Does that
like, so I like, I ain't gonna lie, I ain't think I was gonna have a lot of input, like, and a lot of like, but Erica, my buddy over here, he is over here. She is definitely like, she the one with the plan, and she definitely makes sure that, you know, I'm on point as far as voicing my opinions and that my thoughts and ideas get heard. But like Rajah was kind of talking about, you know, like he said, I think that NASCAR has been making an effort to, you know, work towards being, you know, just outwardly being like, come here, come on, let's go. Like, we need more engagement. We need people to enjoy the sport. We need to find avenues and lanes to get people into the sport. But I think they were doing that, but now it's like there's so much attention like on it. Like, you can do it, but it like a light sometimes it's missing the light. So now it's like a light just shining on it right now, you know what I'm saying? And the more ideas and more, you know, basically just, I think, collaborative efforts that we make to be able to say, all right, well, how can we get more, you know, Rajahs or more, you know, anybody, you know, how can we get more engagement?
More women.
Yeah, more women, anything.
Yeah,
like, how can we get more people to be engaged with this sport or be, you know, they have a like a curiosity about the sport, wanting to be involved, whether it's behind the wheel or just in the corporate side of it, the business side of it. How do we do that? Okay, well, shoot, I'm raising my hand and I'm like, all right, well, I think this would be cool, you know. Obviously, being somebody I wouldn't call myself a NASCAR just expert, But, I'm kind of like learning as I'm going. And I'm like, man, this would probably be a good idea. It seems like a good idea to me. Erica, what you think? What y'all think? Like, I'm like, okay, that might sound good, And like Rajah said earlier, you can't just go to Walmart and be like, hey, let me get a stock car, and I'm gonna go outside in my backyard and go practice. Yeah. Like, how do you get a 13-year-old that's like, man, I want to race? Like, how do you get that kid to one? You pique his interest because you're like, all right, well, come and get in this program and we're gonna help you. And then how do you actually give him the experience of like, okay, we're gonna get you a simulator, or we're gonna get you behind the car and get you the experience. So I think that's like what's going on in my role. Like, it's kind of just finding ways to figure out how to get the engagement and get, the curiosity, like pique the curiosity and like keep it going and strengthen it and fortify it so it ends up being a career, or ends up being like on behind the wheel or just upstairs in the office, because there's so many opportunities. And like I said earlier, it's so inclusive and so like collaborative as far as, race, like gender, like everybody's up there like trying to work towards one goal and to make the sport be as like big as
accessible.
Yeah, accessible as it can be.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's one thing that I didn't think at first. I was like, it's NASCAR. Like, I don't think. But that's really what they're trying to do, and that's what we're trying to do. So
and that's why you can stand behind
that's
it.
That's why I can, because I like 100%, I'll say this with all honesty. I would not be doing it if I didn't if I didn't like, if I didn't like it and believe in like the message and the goal and the mission. You know what I'm saying? So to see someone like Rajah that has, okay, well, he's experienced all these things and he's rising up through the ranks and he's finding his lane and obviously getting some success now and, seeing that like light at the end of the tunnel, like I'm trying to make it to this goal right here. I done took these steps, and obviously he's went through the diversity program, and it's allowing him to be able to experience and attain some of these goals and these aspirations that are one day going to get him to where he wants to be. And to see that, it's like, okay, we on point. Let's keep going.
It'd be dope if they had like how across the country they have the go-kart spots, right? If they had a bunch of spots like that, but you can go the simulator.
For the simulator.
Yeah, we talked about that.
At the high school.
We talked about that.
At
We
the
actually
high
talked
school,
about that.
it's like for real, because
literally,
high school, obviously you got your high school prep team, you know what I'm saying? Football, basketball, whatever. But if we could put simulators in schools and then obviously engage the students with guys like yourself showing up, or Joey Logano and some of the other, great drivers and everything, I think that you would see again, accessibility, and you would see it rise. Mm-hmm. They're trying the same thing right now. I heard in MLB is like, yo, we got to get black players back on the diamond.
Yeah.
How do we do these things? But again, to both of you guys, like you guys are both doing the work for something that you love, and that's important. You know what I mean? And your focus, man. Again, like, just I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
Alvin talked to me about you a year ago or even less at a race. He was like, yo, it's this kid you got to meet. And then Chief, I think through Darrell or someone, he was talking to somebody, and so the synergy was there. So to have you sitting here with Alvin, like this is an amazing thing, and I just want to see you go as far as you can. And I think the other thing that we should do is give flowers. Like, you have, Alvin touched on this earlier, but it's important. I know he and I are both fathers. You have to invest in your children, and your dad has done that through and through. I had the opportunity to speak to him yesterday, and it was a father who is not only just in love with the process, but I mean, it's just honored to pour into you. And then for him, you got he's a professor, right? Professor at Howard University, and went to Clark Atlanta and undergrad. So like you have that textbook thing to follow. You got the blueprint at the house.
Definitely got a blueprint.
Please, I will tell you, for you to continue, make sure you immerse yourself in that. Because that is going to take you a lot further than anything. Because his agenda is only about you, about seeing his son do absolutely surpass everything that he's done. So, you know what I mean? Like, lean into that.
Quick question: who are some of your favorite athletes? Just period, across all sports.
Nobody from the Bears. Please don't name me.
Man, I got to start with. I'll start with track and field first.
Okay.
Because that's really what I started.
Okay.
I did basketball first, then track and field in
Okay.
elementary school, and so did all through high school.
Okay.
So I would say probably Jesse Owens would be
Really?
from track and field. Yeah.
That's offset right there.
I would say just.
I ain't never heard that one. Like,
Yeah.
Like, what's your favorite athlete?
Just because, and the reason I say that is, and honestly, my dad introduced me to Willie Mays from the MLB last month, and so that was a
Say hey, kid.
yeah, and I had no clue who he was, and
Yeah.
so just seeing like athletes like that just not only do it for the love of the game, but also understand they got a platform to use to do better is huge. So that's why I say Jesse Owens is one of them. I think in basketball, I mean, I would say John Wall, just because obviously he's been
You're
with
from-
DC.
yeah,
I'm from DC, and he's been
yeah.
there, and so he did a lot of great things for the city. And so just seeing really how he gave back and how involved he was in the community was huge. And I would say those two primarily my top two, just because like their professionalism and kind of obviously they love the sport and
What they stand for.
yeah, exactly what they
Yeah.
stand for.
Trailblazer like yourself.
You're talking
right?
like super historic. Like when you say Willie Mays, like this is a guy who couldn't even they didn't even want him to buy a home
Yeah, they wanted
in San Francisco
yeah.
in the community where he was from. Like they didn't want him there.
Yeah.
And then also, he was from the deep south. I want to say is he from Alabama? Huh? Yeah. Birmingham, Alabama.
Dang, yeah.
Yeah, and to end up where he ended up and how beloved he is in the sport, no one speaks ill on him, And then he was at a time where Muhammad Ali and some other players were like questioning like his role in
Right.
the whole thing, and that's something that we all face. You know what? That's here it is. Both of you,
Yeah.
you're in positions where people often project things on us, right? Like you should be doing this.
Mm-hmm.
You're not saying this enough. You didn't do this enough.
Or you're not doing enough.
You're not
Yeah.
doing enough. Has there been an experience like that for you? And then how did you work through it? Has there been anything like that?
To this day, I think like, and we talking about, me
Everything.
personally. Look,
Yeah.
so I'm not the type of dude to like broadcast everything I'm doing, right?
Obviously.
So, there's so much that I do behind the scenes, and, there's so much that I have going on behind the scenes that benefiting so many people and touching so many people. So, the average person doesn't know that. So if we talking about, someone coming to me or reaching out to me and like, you don't do enough for, the black
Culture.
community or the culture, and, I see that that's something that you care about and you stand for, but you're not doing enough. You need to do more. And I'm like, how
did you
literally-
come to
Yeah,
that?
how did you come to that conclusion? Like, how did you come to that, like, that point that you felt like the need to hit me and say that? When we have so many foundations, we donate to so many different organizations to, help single mothers, homeless children. We give back on the holidays. I mean, we're placing people in homes like that can't, that literally
Would not
can't.
get
Yeah,
a home.
they can't afford it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or like we're doing so much. I'm doing so much, and this is me using like my resources, my money, my team, my family, and just going and doing all this. And I'm like, man, sometimes I'm like, do I need to go? I need to go tell somebody that, but that's not me. Like, so it's like
Because you're doing it because you care.
yeah, I care. Like, it's not an optical.
I have a juice bar, and I employ my
yeah,
friends.
man. Like my homie
are the
you know what I'm
general
saying?
managers.
Exactly.
It's giving them an opportunity.
Bro, like it's so much of that, and you know sometimes it's hard because when you have so much influence and you're in the public, I'm in the public. I can't even go down the street. I can't go to the grocery store without somebody looking at me and saying, "Oh, that's Alvin," or like, "Hey, what are you doing?" So you know everybody's looking at you to do something, and you know what I'm saying. It's finding a balance between doing something and knowing that you can't do everything. You know what I'm saying?
You can't help everybody.
You can't help everybody.
Has that jaded you a bit? That, you know what I mean? Like, everyone that comes sort of in your circle, right, who hasn't been there, let's say for a long time, does it make you like, I gotta see how you move for a little while before I invite you in? Like, how you know what I mean?
What would you think? being around me for a while. What would you?
No new friends.
I'm a huge proponent. Like, there's not. You see how I move. Like, it's not a lot of space or a lot of wiggle room for a lot of like outside things. You know what I'm saying? Because.
But I respect it.
Yeah, for sure. And
you know
it
what's
just
up.
yeah. I know you do, but and I would tell people like, you know, a lot of people like, well, why don't you do this or why don't you, you know, let people come. It's all right. Like, yeah, just chill a little bit because, you know, we got a good thing going on over here. And, you know, if it's supposed to happen, it's going to happen.
You are a huge believer in that.
If it's supposed to happen, it's going to happen. And your first conversation,
From
like,
the rip.
that's one thing that I grasped from you, that you was like, you know, this is about human condition and it's about synergy. So, you know, I'm feeling that vibe right now. I'm feeling that connection. And I feel like something is going to happen. Me and you were talking right now. I respect you as a man. Let's put something together. And we're sitting here dang near 2 years later, like just seeing everything like line up and all that. But you know, I mean, it's like it's so much. I would say I'm not. I would say, to answer your question, I don't think I'm really jaded when it comes to that area because, you know, I mean, you either gotta respect it or check it. You know what I'm saying?
That's what he said.
You gotta respect it or check it. You know what I'm saying? Like. And I was gonna tell you, that's one thing I think, I kind of see it, and this is me watching from a distance, I see it, and I don't know, you tell me, I think you got a little killer in you, like, as far as like from the sport aspect, not literally, but like from the sport, it's like.
Silent assassin.
Yeah, you like an assassin, like you kind of got that about you, you know what I'm saying? And I think.
See, I didn't used to be like that though.
And I see, but yeah, so I'm an athlete at a high level, but I see it, and yeah, that's definitely good.
Yeah,
that's what I wanted to speak on a little bit. I wanted you to speak on like what your mindset is as far as like you being like, okay, so like me right now, I'm Alvin Kamara, right? Yesterday I was 41, right? I'm on the field. It's like it's kind of two different things, but they mesh together. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta, I don't know, it's just navigating those. Like, what do you feel like? I don't know. I guess. Your identity is like as far as being behind the wheel and just being sitting right here, cause.
Man, that's a good point. Just because, like not even just racing, like when I was running and like playing other sports and stuff in high school, like I was just really doing that for fun and because I was like decent at it, and not from a competitive standpoint. And then as I got older and then started racing, I realized like, yeah, I care about this, but like these dudes, like it's not social hour, it's not friendly. And so I've really this year I've learned like people is like out for blood. Like it's not just a run in the park. And so exactly. And so that really just has honestly changed me like throughout this year, like from just being more aggressive to doing things that me previously I wouldn't have done, and just putting myself in situations that sometimes it didn't work out, sometimes it did.
Yeah.
Is really because I feel like growing up a little bit, like knowing like, all right, like on the racetrack, I can be as mean or as aggressive as I want to be. Unapologetically, because I know off the racetrack, I care about people and I'm a good person. Yeah. And so when we're in that closed environment, like it's time to go to business because I know they will do that to me. So I'm going to do it to them twice as bad. So that's kind of the mentality I've been on.
That's
the
what I
last-
like. I like that.
But I didn't used to be like that because honestly, I used to be like kind of soft, like from playing sports and stuff. Like I didn't even play football. I mean, my dad was talking about this the other day.
Yeah.
like I was kind of just there, you know. And now like I've had to toughen up because it's like it's grown man stuff. Yeah. And so like I said, you know,
Is the trash talk different in NASCAR?
See, I mean, you can't talk to each other like when you're racing against each other.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I'm
you
saying
could-
I
yeah.
see them scraps. You know,
See,
I
that's-
seen where they get out the car.
See, that's what I don't like though, is because like people, so we like will talk on the radios to our team, and people will be like, oh, I'm gonna wreck this guy back, or we gonna fight after the race, and 9 times out of 10 they don't do anything, and they just.
I'm gonna be quiet on that.
And they just are quiet. They do nothing, and so. And then after the fact, then everybody go on Twitter the night of or night after, and then act all big and bad, and then you get to the racetrack and it's like business as usual. And so that's not me at all. And like I've been put in situations this year and been in like, you know, spots where I've been taken advantage of, and those have really just made me change.
Harden you up a little bit.
Yeah, because like I don't like for that to happen. And so,
teachable moment.
Yeah,
for sure.
And so, like, even
everything is an experience. Everything is a learning experience.
Yeah, and like even like one of my last races this year, like when I was racing Xfinity, and so that's racing against again grown men and people that are racing in that series for points. And me, I'm a part-time guy, a young driver, just trying to make a name for myself. And because I've kind of got to this point, I'm racing against these veterans, and so. It's somewhat of a changing of guard at times, and so it's like I got into something at one race, and I was like I'm gonna stand my ground because I mean I'm here too, right?
Mm-hmm.
And again, that's kind of the things. One thing I don't necessarily like about the sport is like again people act all big and bad, and then like
if you're gonna do that, do that.
Right?
That. Yeah.
Like that's what I don't. There's a couple, like Ty Gibbs, he's about that life. Like, that's my man. It's like Ty's, he's about that life. And there's some other guys that are, you know.
Puppies.
Yeah, exactly. Like.
They puppies.
Cupcakes.
You got, but see, that's what I was saying. Like, I could see it in you, like, because I kind of just watch how you talk and, like, how you maneuver. And I'm like, oh, yeah, you be kind of popping it. Like, but. I want to see it more though. Honestly, I feel like that's just me though, you know. But you got to do it when you comfortable. Like you got to do it when it got to come up out of you. Like you know, at a you got to control. Yeah, it got to be natural.
Yeah, because normally I'm very like reserved, like around my friends and just quiet to myself. But like on the racetrack, you're gonna know I'm there.
What's downtime for you?
Man, I've been trying to work on that this winter because. Like obviously, like now I'm in this and I'm also finishing up school, but it's important to have.
You got to find that balance.
Right, it's balance and rest is important. Like even like just going to bed on time. So I've been really just trying to learn other avenues to like use my energy to like just take my mind off racing because although I think about it all the time, I realize like I can't do that.
You don't burn out.
I'm gonna burn myself out.
Yeah, you don't burn yourself out.
So like I've been trying to read more. I've been trying to watch different shows and like. You know, go on bike rides and stuff like that just to grow and see the things I'm into.
I think yesterday you were talking about you were going to take a trip somewhere.
Yeah, I'm taking a trip in a week and a half, and
Where are you going?
Miami.
Okay, for sure.
So I've never.
You going to Miami or you going to Florida?
Miami.
You going to Miami or you going to Florida?
Florida.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna be on my best behavior.
All right.
Yeah.
What that mean?
Not Miami spring break.
Yeah, I was
Not
asking
spring
if he was
break.
going to Miami or if he was going to Florida. Like, if you going to Miami, like, I go to Miami.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Like not Miami. Like I'm going to Florida.
So I go to Miami.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I was trying to see if he was going to. I was trying to see if he was going to Miami or if he was going to Florida.
Next year he be going to Miami.
Science music, the music. Okay, R.
21
Kelly.
in what, May?
June.
June.
I got
we'll
6
go to
months.
Miami in June.
I'll be there. Pops, I got him in June.
Are you an adrenaline junkie?
Man, no.
No.
That's a trip, being a car
Yeah.
See,
driver.
I can't do heights. I'm not a roller coaster guy. I don't Like
Wait,
none of that stuff.
But them
Yeah,
cars
that
go
just
like
blew me.
130
That
miles
was
an hour,
crazy.
right?
Yeah, that stuff is not for me, man.
That blew me right there.
That's
How you
crazy.
drive a car? How you drive?
I don't know. It's like a
It's
trigger, a
something
switch.
else. It's a different.
Yeah.
It's a different
Like
part of
even
you.
at like any other sporting event I go to, like the game yesterday or basketball games or my school's basketball games, whenever they do like pre-race ceremonies and stuff, it's like I was telling Jordan yesterday, like that's a trigger to like in a positive way, right? But just like a this.
Oh yeah, you going in that mode.
Yeah, and so usually like if it's an amusement park or I guess on a tall building or something, like that's not for me. Like I don't do much. That ain't for me, which I guess is kind of weird considering what my day job is.
So,
But yeah.
In a dream scenario, what's the next 24 months look like for Rajah Caruth?
That'll be so I'll be done with school, and so have my degree,
What are you getting your degree in?
motorsports management.
okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's
Oh, you all the way in it. All the way.
all the way. In
All the
it.
way.
Okay.
So I have my degree, and be moved to a new house, and so have that big
Homeowner.
and
What?
so
Talk to him.
That's what's up.
at that point, and then professionally, man, I used to set like goals and like wants on like results and outcomes, and that used to like really like get at me like really this year, like
pressure.
yeah, because I would feel like I wasn't doing enough when I was really doing stuff exceeding, when in reality like that's what I was doing versus like expecting to win every race and lead every lap in situations where that was not physically possible. And so really I just learned that I just got to do my best, and I know in my heart that when I'm doing what I'm supposed to and when I'm not, and the things I need to do to continue to work and improve. And so once I do that, like it's all out of my control. So I would say professionally, I know that I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do for the next 24 months in terms of controlling what I control, getting up on time, going to work out, staying out of trouble, which I've been doing, and that hasn't been an issue for me. And I know that'll come in wins and hopefully a championship or two.
Dream car.
You're gonna get me in trouble because I'm technically a Chevy driver.
But it's okay. It's okay.
Your favorite Chevy?
Yeah, so my favorite Chevy, man, Corvette probably. No, a Corvette or a Chevy SS. But
We can't talk about your dream car. We can't talk about his dream car.
I'll say my dream car. So there's this movie Need for Speed off the video game.
Yeah.
So they have a silver Mustang in it, and it's got like 900 horsepower. Car was awesome in that movie, but I'm not gonna get it.
Why not?
Oh, the car doesn't exist. It's like a fantasy car in the movie.
Make it exist.
What you mean?
I could. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. That could do
I
that.
done did a lot of stuff that I was like, I done thought about when I was little, and I was like, there's no way, and I did it. I'm like,
That's
I
a
be
bucket
looking-
list. All right, cool.
Yeah, I'll be looking at stuff like, wow. When I was like 10, I was thinking about this, and
Like them,
What's one of those things
um,
that you were like, somebody was like, that's never gonna happen, or you were even like, that's not gonna happen, and now it's happened
dog,
for you?
just like I think a lot of people take it for granted, but like, I built my house. Like I built the house.
crib is fly.
Yeah, like I built the crib.
ground
Like
up.
we should have
Yeah.
been there right now. Obviously, I mean we should have. Yeah, we couldn't film there. It was cold right now, but we was gonna film in the backyard. But I built a house, and I'm like, when I was younger, I'm like, I didn't really understand that concept. Like I grew up in apartments and like stuff like that, so I never even thought that was a thing. Like buying a house, let alone building one. So like build it. Like I'll be sitting on my couch like
I built it.
built this house. You know what I'm saying?
Is that something you think you would want to do more? Like,
Oh yeah, that's what I'm really like. Not to get out too far off topic, but like
Nah.
I'm super into real estate. Like that's what I do. Like I bought the lot in my neighborhood to build my house, and I bought like 10 more in the back. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm doing. Like I own a building down the street from where we at right now. You know what I'm saying? And then if we talking about like just community wise,
You
like
You built this spot.
oh yeah,
right?
yeah. I got like I literally cut the concrete in
No,
here,
that's
like,
yeah. She was
did, like
telling
really built me and Trey really built this store like with our own hands. You know what I'm saying? Like for real. So and then we talking about like community and stuff. Like I mean, if you're familiar with New Orleans, like I bought a whole bunch of land in Holly Grove. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a historically black neighborhood, and that was really just destroyed during Katrina, and you know, it never really got back to what it was. You know, a lot of the houses and things there it's still like dilapidated and still kind of like messed up from Katrina. Like I bid on a whole bunch of land not to go too deep into it, but there were some people that were trying to buy it that probably didn't need to own it.
Weren't going to use it for something else.
You know what I'm saying? That didn't need to own it or weren't going to do what should be done. Yeah. So it was kind of like it wasn't about the land as much as it was about, like, I love your phrase, like, the human condition.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't as much about the land. Obviously, it's the real estate, but it was like when I go and stand in that neighborhood on a random Tuesday, and you know it's everybody outside, kids, like I'm talking about from senior to junior, like just kids, like and grandmas, moms, aunts, like that all grew up, like I'm talking about generations of people, and they're like, you know, this neighborhood used to be this and used to be that, and then now they're like, oh yeah, you own this now, you own it. I'm like, yeah, I own it, like, and I don't even have a plan what to do with it, but they like, okay, you should buy the rest of this, and like you should make it like this used to be, or this house used to be right here and now it's gone, or this house you should do something, and that's the stuff that gets me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what's like, oh, that's super dope. Like that's what makes me like feel good. That's what even better than like some of that sometimes make me feel better than like scoring a touchdown. Like, you know?
Like knowing you made a difference.
Yeah, like, cause something for me that's like, okay, well here's the money, like, all right, I own this, cool. But you know, the gratification that you get from that is like way, way, way deeper. Even if I don't even do nothing with it, like right now, like in the near future, it's kind of like the fact, because I knew what was going to happen with it. I knew what was going to happen to that land. The fact that I prevented that from happening and like kind of just giving like that neighborhood a little bit of hope of like, okay, it's somebody that look like
that means a lot to
Yeah,
you.
that
I
means
can
a lot.
see it in your eyes.
Dog.
Yeah, I can see it. It
It's
means
crazy.
a lot.
Like it's super dope. Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm.
No, that's important. We had a long conversation about this yesterday, just about like we were talking about NFL, NBA, and like the lifespan of players, and the reason why so many of these players are broke within a couple years after being out the league, and it's because we don't understand where to put the finances and where money is. And real estate has always been and will always be.
You know what? I don't even so much really like that, like, you know, we don't understand where, like, that kind of cliche of like, oh, these guys don't understand, or that. I think they do. They just think they have more time than they do.
It's never gonna run out.
Yeah, you know, like, I'm 6 years in, you know what I'm saying? Like,
And you didn't.
I'm 6 years in, and for me to say like it's gonna end tomorrow would be like ludicrous. Like I feel like I can play another 6, but who's to know? You know what I'm saying? Like who's to know? Thank God I've been blessed, been fairly healthy, like, you know, been able to be elite status. Like I know obviously because work ethic, opportunity, situation I'm in, but you know, like a lot of guys think that tomorrow is promised. So, you know, like this $1 million that I'm getting this year, my contract next year, I got another $1 million coming in next year. And, you know, if I get done with this contract, I'm going to just go get another contract. Like, it don't always happen like that. Mm-hmm. So, you know, these dudes, you always see these dudes after the fact, they're like, dang, man, I should have did it while you knew.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You knew, like, why didn't you just do it? So, like, that's why, like, where a lot of my thinking is, I'm like, man, you know, as much as I can do right now while the grease is hot, I'm going to do it. Like,
Rajah, you paying attention? You paying attention?
Because
there's some game being given right here.
Yeah, you got to. You definitely got to strike while it's hot. In all aspects, not just in the sport, but like in life.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where can people find out more about these programs, the diversity programs for NASCAR? You know, like the schedule, you know, what are the schedules like? When do you guys start racing? Like, just
specifically for your series.
Yeah, like give people some gems on how they can find out about more of the work that you guys are all doing and what NASCAR is doing, so people can educate themselves and dive in a little bit more.
Yeah, for sure. Like NASCAR's website is pretty like simple to navigate. So it's got the pathway to go through the diversity website and see the driver development program, but also the college intern program and the pit crew development program. And so those are 3 huge gateways to getting involved. And then also, like each racetrack has different things that they do. Like for Richmond, for example, like we did some with Virginia State University. And so every racetrack kind of has their own niche area of things they kind of give and do in the community. And so I would say, like NASCAR, again, their website is pretty good to navigate in terms of seeing schedules for my races and for the races for the other national series, and also kind of how you can get involved from really any capacity.
I can't front. I want to try changing one of them tires.
Yeah. We're gonna go do that. We definitely need to go do that because I still ain't done that yet. We're gonna go do that.
Remember how he was shaving the shaving? So he's burning the tire with a torch, and he's shaving it, and it's like hot. Like I'm standing way back here, and I'm like, hell no!
Nah,
and they doing the whole race.
Yeah, I always tripped out on that because I used to watch a little bit. The driving's a spectacle in itself, but they be changing the 4 tires, all that stuff in like 3 seconds.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
I'm like,
and then I got the scoop on how. Can you share with my guy, how do you guys keep cool in the car? It's something with
a lot
the
of
suit,
different
right?
things. Yeah, so the Cup guys usually use it primarily. So you have your fire suit, right? And you got to wear like fireproof underwear and stuff. And then you have a cool shirt is what you can get. And so it just goes on your chest, and it's got a bunch of tubing and stuff, and it has like fluid that connects with a little string to a machine in the bottom of the car. And so basically just pumps cool fluid through your chest. Well, not through your chest, but on top of it, and keeps the temperature cool. Me personally, since the races I'm in aren't super long yet, I just don't want to use it because I feel like
Extra.
If I don't need it right
Less
now,
is more.
Yeah, less is more. And so whenever like I get to Cup, like that's when I'll need it for the 500-mile races. But like doing 200, 300 miles right now, like I'm good. And I see other dudes, use them, and they look like gassed after the race, and I get it, I'm just like it's fine, So that I like seeing that, and that kind of relates to the idea of, like I'm trying to beat these dudes. And so when I get out the car and I feel pretty good, and I see these other dudes are gassed and they have all like the extra coolant stuff and have these super better cars and things like that, and I'm just like, it's whatever. It's like, all right, like I like that stuff. And so some other things too, like, you have helmet cooling mechanisms just because it's easy to get carbon monoxide poisoning, so you got to have a filter. Besides that, you got little like tubes that come through the windows and blow on you. Got feet fans sometimes. So it's a lot of different, intricate things to keep the drivers cool. Driver comfort things, which I don't think some of them you need. But
where's the Beats by Dre pill set up at?
Man, I'm telling you, they need to let you. Okay,
So I asked him yesterday. I was like, "What you banging?"
So you have-
I never thought about you can't listen to music.
You can't listen to music because you
talking
have the
to the
earbuds
team.
and you
Oh
talk
yeah,
to
you
the
got to talk to
team.
the team.
But man, I feel like if I was be allowed to listen to music in the car, like that would help my results.
What's one song you could put on repeat for at least like 6 laps?
We got 30 seconds.
Oh, probably EA by Young Nudie and 21 Savage.
Oh yeah, you killing it.
What you listening to before you get out there?
Man, I don't know. My vibe is all over the place. Like yesterday, I was listening to SZA.
The new album was fire though.
Vibe. She killed that.
That's what's up.
That album. That's a great
Album
piece of,
crazy.
Yeah, that's a great
SZA's dope.
piece of work right there.
Well, listen, man. Again, appreciate you two kings sitting down with us, just edifying us, edifying you, giving everybody roses. I look forward to having a front row seat as you climb. We look forward to it. You know what it is.
Yeah, for sure.
I love watching your story evolve. Live from the Crescent City, y'all. This is Sweet Life. See y'all.
Yes, indeed.
Peace.